Part of me wanted to relax. The other part didn't think I earned it yet. Lately, I've been wondering if comfort's been making me soft. So I drove to Walden, a place far enough out and high enough up that even walking feels like a challenge. I told myself it'd be both rest and training. Casual runs, cold swims, good food. That was the plan. But the bugs, they had other plans. They were a force to be reckoned with. They were relentless, much worse than I expected. And the storms didn't help either, drifting through like they were just checking in on me. Discomfort has a unique way of surfacing things that we've buried. Thoughts I'd buried under routine, habits I'd excused as survival. I came here to challenge myself and to find a slower pace, to see what still holds up when it's just me, the van, and nothing to hide behind. After spending time in Buena Vista, I decided to head north. I was looking for a place a bit quieter than Buena Vista, aiming for Walden or somewhere in the nearby Route National Forest. In that stretch of Colorado tucked away in North Park, the terrain starts to feel more untouched. There are fewer houses, fewer people, and more room to breathe and explore. I think I was craving that, something quieter. What drew me in was the forest ecosystem in that area. I loved the way the pines and aspens intertwine with each other in the meadows. The Alpine lakes seem to appear only when you're almost on top of them. I tried to reach one that I had found online. It looked perfect on the map. But the road was closed by the Forest Service. There were no signs indicating this until I got there. Just a rusted gate in the middle of the woods, the kind of thing you wouldn't know about until you had already ventured too far in to turn back. Google Maps failed me again and didn't have the latest update. Honestly, I didn't mind. Some detours in life are better experienced than researched. I found myself following a few roads I probably shouldn't have, steep and rocky, meant for a Jeep, not an old Chevy Express with a homemade build. But eventually, I discovered a spot. It wasn't where I planned to be, just where I ended up. It's wild how, even now, there are places that feel uncertain. Not dangerous, just uncurated. They seem to be left out of the social media feeds on purpose. But in a strange way, that gives me confidence. Because out here, if you want to know how something really looks, you still have to go and see it with your own eyes. I'm just west of Walden, somewhere in the Route National Forest. I almost got stuck on my way up here. I was following Google Maps and trying to find a cool lake spot, but unfortunately, the road was closed. Not only was I not able to find the lake, but the road that Google sent me down was pretty much a Jeep road with really steep grades and large rocks. But luckily, my van has high clearance and I made it. When I got out, I saw the main road, which was much more gentle and forgiving. This is the last time I'm trusting Google Maps blindly. I almost got stuck out here. This just goes to show you that you have to trust your gut, and you can't always rely on technology. I found this large free spot just off the main forest road. It's pretty big. There's room for all kinds of activities. I've been finding that there's all kinds of spots on forest roads that are usually established. It just takes a willingness to explore for a little bit to see what's out there. You'll usually find something after a while. Just don't take your rig down super sketchy Jeep roads. You might get stuck out here. Colorado's been getting a bunch of rain, so that's really great to help prevent fires, but there's also a bunch of mosquitoes out here. I can't stand still for very long, otherwise they start swarming me. So I have to put on a lot of bug spray, but honestly, I don't know if it's helping much. The Bin's bug spray has been doing an okay job, but I just don't like the greasy feeling of it. So I think I'm gonna go check out the Picardin. They come in little packets that you can put on. It's supposed to feel less greasy on your skin, and it also has the added benefit of being a little bit more nice to your gear. The Ben's bug spray is known for deteriorating your gear and your clothing. Now I'm getting swarmed by bugs, but let's try to get this breakfast started. Actually, new plan, I'm getting swarmed by mosquitoes. The bug spray that I put on is not working as well as I thought it would. I can't believe how relentless the mosquitoes are right now. Next time I come out to a place like this, I'm bringing a thermocell. They give you 20 feet of protection without having to put on bug spray on your skin. Even though I'm at over 8,000 feet, I'm located next to a creek, it's warming up, and it's kind of a boggy area, so I think I'm going to pack up and then get headed down the road to find a little bit of a less buggy area. The mosquitoes were relentless, biting through my sleeves and swarming around my face, drawn to the stillness under the trees. The elevation kept the air cool, but there was no breeze to help push back the bugs. The forest seemed to hold everything in place, making even the air feel stagnant. The scent of pine was heavy, and the sound of buzzing was constant. So I set off, hoping for a landscape that would open up. What I wanted was an alpine lake, something with movement, a place where the wind would help me and I could finally breathe. I hadn't been to this part of Colorado before, and didn't know if a lake was close by or even reachable. The last time I went searching for one up here, I almost got lost. But I figured if I kept moving, I might exchange the bugs and thick pines for open water and wind. That was my logic anyway. Sometimes when living like this, a loose thread of hope is reason enough to keep going.
There's still mosquitoes and bugs out here, but at least it's open. There's a little bit of a breeze to keep them off me, so now I can go make breakfast. Okay, let's try this. This looks good. Turned out great again. This place is fantastic. I think it was a great call to come out here to this lake. There's still bugs. It's summer. There's gonna be bugs everywhere. But at least I'm not getting swarmed. Today I'm finishing the third workout of week 2. I'm gonna be walking 0.25 and then running 0.5 times 3. So in total it'll be 2.25 miles. There's some weather moving in on the area, so I think I'm gonna go run before that picks up.
I knew I needed to train for my next adventure. Some of the camps that I've had my eye on were situated high up, above 11,000 feet, and you can't just stroll into those areas without putting in the effort. So I laced up my running shoes and began training. Nothing too intense, 3 miles broken into segments, but even that felt challenging at this altitude of over 8,000 feet. The air was thin, my lungs strained, and my legs were pushed to their limits. It was a struggle, but I was determined to succeed. At first, I felt uneasy. A storm had been rolling through, and the thunder in the high country doesn't inspire much comfort. But then, something unexpectedly changed. The clouds began to thin, and the breeze picked up. And for a brief moment, it felt as though the mountain was cheering me on. I kept moving, running 3/4 of the time and walking 1/4. I repeated this pattern, and with every stretch of trail, I wasn't just training for the altitude. I was making a promise to myself that I would be ready for when it was time to go further.
That was the end of week 2, run 6. What made that workout hard is that I'm running at 8,800 feet. That's running around higher than the summit of Half Dome for about 30 minutes. I'm finally at the point where I can sustain half miles, so that's pretty good. Definitely feeling tired, but really glad to complete this week and finish strong. Next week will be week 3, and it'll be 0.25 walk and 0.75 run, for a total of 3 miles per workout. I'm slowly getting there. I think in a couple of weeks I'll be ready for some epic hikes and some awesome overnight trips. Luckily, the storm passed faster than I thought it would. I need to stretch. I think I'm going to do some yoga while I'm still warm.
It was tempting to skip the stretching. After a hard run, part of me just wanted to sit, maybe nap or snack. But I've learned that if I don't stretch my muscles while they're still warm, I'll regret it tomorrow. So I laid out my mat, found a flat patch of ground by the lake, and settled in. A constant cool breeze drifted through the aspens and across the water, just enough to keep the mosquitoes at bay. The contrast to the forest was immediate. No buzzing, no biting. Instead, I was surrounded by the gentle rustle of leaves and the soothing sound of water touching stone. With each pose, I felt a quiet unraveling, my muscles still buzzing from the run, softened into stillness. I was just meeting my body where it was, giving it the space to recover. Then I decided to swim. The water was cold, probably around 50 degrees, maybe even less. But I craved that reset. There's something I just love about cold water. When you come out of it, you feel different. You emerge calmer and a little more relaxed.
That was a really cold lake, but I'm glad I went into it. That water has to be around 50 degrees, but it felt amazing on my muscles. This is a really great campsite. I lucked out and got here early. There's a bunch of people coming now. They're all looking at my spot, but I'm not moving. This is amazing. I think I'll go for another swim in the morning. I'm really glad that that storm didn't come through. I was most concerned about lightning, not really rain, but lightning around 9,000 feet is kind of concerning. Maybe it'll hold off until tomorrow. This looks delicious. Let's try. This is so good. Wow. This new stove just cooks everything way faster. This view is amazing. I must have the best campsite in this entire campground.
Dinner was perfect. Simple, hot, and exactly what I needed. That kind of meal hits differently after a day like this. The light began to soften, and for a few minutes, the entire lake turned to gold. I sat there feeling fulfilled, with a view that didn't need words. but beauty has its own tension. As the sun dipped lower, the mosquitoes returned worse than before, buzzing around my ears, landing on my ankles, creeping under my collar. The breeze had dropped, and the stillness invited them back in. I had to keep moving, just pacing slowly so they couldn't land on me. It wasn't as peaceful anymore, but I wasn't ready to give it up. So I walked, not far, just enough to feel the cool air slipping down from the hills. It was the kind of walk where I wasn't chasing anything, just letting it all settle. I felt tired, but not drained. The good kind of tired, when you know you've given something and your effort has meant something. As I looked back at the van, parked in that little window of wild that I had somehow found, I just felt grateful. Grateful I left, grateful I came, and thankful I kept going.
Well, the mosquitoes decided to come out again after the wind died down following sunset. They were following me everywhere. I'm definitely getting a thermocell next time. I've never tried one before, but I've heard good things about them. A bunch of my new friends decided to follow me after I opened the door, but I discovered if I take the mesh netting off my Max Air fan and set it to level 4, it's a great way to vent out all the mosquitoes inside your van without driving yourself crazy. It's probably not the best way to treat my new friends, but they bite way too much. Overall, I'm feeling pretty good about today. I made it through the last workout of week 2, and I did it at 8,800 feet. It was hard, but I'm glad I did it. I'm getting a little bit stronger each time. I think it was worth coming up to this lake. I got the best spot in the entire campground, and I'm grateful for that. I'm excited that I'm getting to prepare for all these beautiful trips at altitude. They're gonna be beautiful. I can't wait to see more beautiful alpine lakes. It was a long day with a lot of bugs. I think I'm gonna try to get some sleep. Good night.
I can't believe that I almost didn't stay. There was a moment, yesterday morning, when I seriously considered packing up. There were too many bugs and a lot of biting. Everything felt sharp around the edges, and I wondered if I had made a mistake by coming out here. But over the years, I've learned something about discomfort. It doesn't always mean you should stop what you're doing. Sometimes it means you're standing on the edge of something better, something that will push you to grow. You just have to keep walking forward. I slept great last night and woke up to this amazing sunrise. For the first time in a while, I didn't feel like rushing through it. I find a special kind of clarity when I swim in cold water. I love how it wakes me up and makes me more ready for the day. It's like a ritual that prepares me for whatever the day may bring. Today, it felt like a meditation. The water was still, and I found myself sitting in it for some time. I think I lost track of time of how long I was sitting in there. It bites you at first, but then it holds you. That's how this place feels now, like it has softened me, just a little, with space. Space to feel and observe things I usually outrun when I'm moving too much or I'm too busy. It gives me the chance to notice and recognize how far I've come. I don't know what's next, but for once, I'm not in a hurry to figure it out. There's a certain peace in not knowing and a relief in accepting the uncertainty. Whatever is around the corner, I'll meet it as I am. And I can't wait to see what's out there.